Coming up is an episode with Leslie Bonci. She is the sports nutrition consultant for the 2020 Super Bowl Kansas City Chiefs. You won't want to miss this. As parents, navigating a new normal for kids in sports and maximum performance are all more important than ever now. Joining me with some tips for maintaining a safe and healthy lifestyle for your child on and off the field, rink, mat, and so much more. Leslie Bonci, she's the sports nutrition consultant for the 2020 Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. She has the coolest job. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining me, Leslie.
Well, thanks for having me, Wendy. I'm delighted to be here. And you know what? I mean, just like the professional players, kids need to be thinking about this too, is how do they not only optimize performance, but how do they stay safe? We want to do both of those things together.
Absolutely. So let's get into it right now. So let's start with the safety issue. What are your recommendations to stop spreading germs during the practice of the games? So important, especially now.
Oh my God, absolutely. So first and foremost, it is washing hands with soap and water for 20 seconds, which evidently is one chorus of Old MacDonald, and then making sure that we do that after going to the bathroom, after blowing nose, after coughing, or after sneezing. Second thing is avoid touching the eyes, nose, and mouth. That is critically important. The third is no sharing. We can share information, but we cannot share water bottles, or any other kind of bottle or any kind of food that we use, and making sure that any reusable bottles are cleaned and sanitized each and every day. And the fourth thing is no more bulk food. Everything needs to be individually packaged for that one person, no sharing. We just cannot do that. We don't want to transmit those germs.
Oh my God, first of all, I've said this over and over in so many interviews recently. This should have been the norm all along. I mean, just these simple little things. I never used to get in my car and wipe down my hands right away after every time I got in my car. Every time I walked in the house, I wasn't the best at washing my hands every single time. Now, without fail.
And you know what? Those have always been good practices, and now that is the new norm. And that is a great thing because hopefully everybody stays healthier moving forward. That just becomes part of the warm-up and the cool-down. You do those safety things you need to do.
Absolutely. How important is the right food and drink choices for sports activities?
You know what? We're talking about active kids and kids that need to train their brain. They need to train for their sport. They need to grow and develop well. So what they put into their bodies in terms of food and fluid is absolutely critical. And so let's talk about fluid a little bit, because hydration never takes a vacation. We have to do this consistently. And when somebody is physically active, it's critically important that they pick the right beverage. Gatorade Juice is a new product found in the juice aisle. And not only does it have the fluid, but it also has the carbohydrates and the electrolytes with no added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. So it works very, very well during sports.
I like that. I haven't seen that yet. I'm going to be looking for that. That's perfect. What about snacks?
And when we're looking at snack items, again, talking about things that are individually packaged. So things such as an individually packaged granola bar or string cheese or crackers or nuts or a trail mix, but no big bags that we pass around. It's our bag and our bag alone. And certainly fruit, individual pieces of fruit. This works really, really well in conjunction with the fluids to make sure that bodies are getting what they need.
Interesting. What about recommendations to maintain well-balanced sports diets?
Well, we're talking about a winning plate, and that winning plate means that it has the macros and carbohydrate, protein, and fat. It has the micros and vitamins and minerals. It has the phytos in the plants that we eat, and it has the hydros in the fluid. So ideally, this plate would be 50% produce or 50% fruit and vegetable, 25% protein, whatever that's going to be, chicken, fish, meat, tofu, eggs, and about 25% of the carbohydrate, if that's pasta, if that's rice, if it's bread, if it's potatoes, and then a little bit of fat that is used that helps to round the bases, bring it all home, and optimize eating each and every day. The other thing we think about is consistency. Every day doing this, frequency, how often we eat over the course of the day, the quantity that we eat at any given meal, and the quality of the food that is on that plate.
I like it. I like it a lot. What about water? How much water?
Well, when we are looking at fluid requirements overall, so we know we've got a lot of beverages to choose from, and beverages that we need to have during activity are different from beverages we have when we're sedentary. So when we're looking at kids, depending upon the age of kids, it can be anywhere from 50 to 70 ounces of liquid a day. That's not tiny amounts, but it's critically important not to overconsume. That's not better either. So really making the most every day out of what's in the glass, in the bottle, on the plate, in the bowl. That's what we're looking to do. And keep in mind that fluid also comes from some of the foods we eat. So dual duty, providing fuel and fluid simultaneously.
How do we keep athletes healthy during off season?
One of the things that we talk about is that it becomes an active off season. So in the off season, that might be the time that somebody's working on particular goals to change their physique, or perhaps they're recovering from surgery or an injury, or they're also just working on fine tuning their eating. So always talk about it as performance eating. That could be rehabilitation nutrition, that could be recovery nutrition, that could be injury prevention. It doesn't matter what it is, but most important, it's the consistency. Not just what happens on a competition day, not just what happens on a weekend, what happens Monday through Sunday, so that it becomes a routine.
I have to say, I'm really stuck on the Gatorade Juice. I'm so happy they finally did that without the sugars and stuff. That was such a great idea. How did your journey with nutrition all begin? I mean, you have one of the coolest jobs of probably anyone I know. Seriously, we're going to get into that. Your cool jobs too.
It is so much fun. It is a pleasure. It is an honor. It's a privilege to work with these absolutely wonderful athletes. It also is a pleasure, honor, and privilege to work with real people who are just looking to help themselves be the best that they can be. I'm a parent. I've made sure that I'm doing the right things for my kids. I'm doing the right thing for myself. We all want to grow well, play well, stay well. That's the goal.
Oh, I like how you say that. If you just see, I'm talking to Leslie Bonci. She was the sports nutrition for the consultant for the 2020 Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, and I love Patrick. What was it like working with them, and how great are they? And he just seems like I'm calling his name out because he's so public right now, and he was just so, I don't know, gracious. I loved watching him.
You know what? It is just amazing how incredibly talented everybody on that team is, how incredibly nice and grounded everybody is on that team, how they really rally as a team, and how they are so respectful and thankful for this information and all the supporting staff that helps them be the best that they can. Truly, it is just a wonderful, wonderful job to have each and every day.
So what is it like working with them? Are they all just so grateful for your help? I mean, you keep them healthy. And how cool is that?
You know what? I mean, it's like anybody else is, there's sometimes there are people that really want to have the information that you present. Sometimes people don't necessarily want to have a one-on-one, but we make it seamless for them because everything that is offered really helps them to optimize performance. And it's with foods that they enjoy. It's with foods that look gorgeous. It's with foods that taste good. So what could possibly be better than that? And then if you see that benefit on top of it to keep your level at that very, very high pinnacle each and every day, consistently through the season and on to playoffs and hopefully again onto the Super Bowl, that's what we want. There's that recipe for success.
Absolutely. And clearly it was a recipe for success. So I'm sure you played a big, huge part in it, but you also were the nutrition consultant for Major League Baseball's Pittsburgh Pirates, Tornado Blue Jays. I mean, come on. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, dream jobs. How did that all happen?
You know what? I think it's sweat equity. Is you've got to put on in the time initially. You've got to familiarize yourself with sports. You have to have that rapport and that engaging conversation style, and really be willing to listen and meet the athletes where they are, no matter what it is that they're trying to do. We have to work together as a team. And I think most importantly to remember, I am not the driver. They're the driver. I'm part of the pit crew. I am there to help them achieve what it is that they're trying to achieve. And always, always, always with a smile on my face.
Yeah, I can see that. You are bright smiling the way you are. What are little things that we can do to put on our plate to keep us more healthy? What are tiny little things, roadmaps that we can do, in everyday life, whether even if you're not an athlete?
Yeah, and I think most importantly is establishing a plan. Right now, it's controlling what you can with your eating and hydration plan. And that means starting small, being consistent, saying, I'm going to make sure I have these foods around to help me achieve what I want to achieve. I'm going to be safe with the foods I eat. I'm going to think about the portions of food that I eat and does it feel appropriate? And I'm really going to try and do a little bit of purposeful portion planning ahead of time so that we're not rushing at the last minute to try and figure out what we want to be eating or drinking.
What do you feel? 3 meals a day? Is it recommended, or do you for your athletes?
We really talk about depending upon the goals that somebody has, is eating at least 3 meals a day, but it might be smaller meals as part of that to parenthesize the time that they're physically active. And for some of them, they need to be having something before bed to help their body recover overnight.
No, that's very important. And these athletes and the training that they put in and the pressure that they put on their bodies, my gosh. Tell us about your active eating.
So my company is Active Eating, and really just helping people be the best that they can, whether they're performing on a stage, whether they're performing on the gridiron, whether they're performing in the classroom or in their workspace. Everybody can really take it up to that next level to do the best that they can for their body, to make their food work best for them, and to stay as healthy and as happy as we can.
Was sports a part of your life? Is that how you got into the sport? I mean, you're a nutritionist, so you have everyday people as well.
Yeah, I played field hockey when I was in high school a million years ago, and I've run for a long time, and I lift weights, and I dance, and I do all those things. And honestly, I don't think you can work with athletes if you haven't done the sweat, because then you don't have any cred whatsoever. So I've got to put in that time and effort. I know what it feels like to work hard. I know what it feels like to sometimes feel not great during active events. Mm-hmm. And I know what it feels like to feel fabulous when I'm fueled.
I like that you said that, because you can't talk about it if you didn't do it. My daughter was a field hockey player in high school as well, and that's not easy.
No, it isn't easy. And, and establishing that rapport is really what we want to do. So, I mean, I think it's been a fantastic field for me. I love it. I want to continue to do it for a long time and just spread that word across the board is how great can we all be when we pay a little bit of attention to that hand-to-mouth activity.
It's so important, and also keeping everybody safe during this time, which is, and I see that you're at home, you're set up at home. Have you started to venture out more now?
Yes. We're careful. We have a small bubble. When I'm out exercising every day, it's with mask on because that's the way it needs to be. I'm doing my part to stay that 6 feet apart. And, this is important, is we got to take care of ourselves. Most important thing, but it's for myself and it's also for community public health, both of those.
And I'm sure now it's more than ever. It's more important for your nutrition, for your health, for your well-balanced diet, for everything, and to stay healthy now more than ever, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. We don't know what the next few months or years going to be like. What do you say to your
athletes? That's also why. Well, and that's why we talk about this idea of controlling what you can, right? There's a lot of things in life we can't, but what it is we choose to eat and how it is we choose to hydrate and how consistently we do that, that is our choice to make. And that can be incredibly powerful. It's the best defense we have.
Well, this was certainly an eye-opening, and I cannot wait to get my Gatorade Juice. I'm telling you, I used to be a big fan. There was so much sugar in there. Now this is great. This is great for the athletes. It's great for every day. It's great to stay hydrated. All these tips were so helpful. Once again, you have the coolest job ever, Leslie Bonci. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, you're certainly welcome. And more information, Gatorade.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much. He has worked with Lady Gaga, Gwyneth Paltrow, Halle Berry, Kim Kardashian, John Mayer, Rihanna, and so much more. He hasn't worked with me yet, though. One of the most sought-after celebrity trainers and nutritionists around. Welcome back, Harley Pasternak.
Thanks for having me.
I'm waiting for you to come work me out, but it's okay, one of these days. So, best topics to talk about ever: get fit and eat better. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. What would you like to talk about?
Well, let's start with, first of all, sleep. How important is sleep?
Sleep is so important. It's supposed to be 1/3 of our lives, and not only are we not doing it enough, we're not doing it well enough. More than ever, we're just overwhelmed with technology. We're working longer hours than we ever have. We're drinking more caffeine than we ever have. We have more screen time than we ever have, and that's amounting to very bad sleep habits and very bad sleep. So I tell everyone, cut out